and we are moving on to Bob Gruen. And Bob is one of the most respected and best known photographers in rock and roll since the mid 1970s, regarded as the foremost documentarians of the scene and working with major talents from John Lennon and Yoko Ono and Tina Turner and Rolling Stones and Led Zeppelin, Elton John, The Kiss, covering really the emerging new wave and punk bands, including the New York Dolls, Patti Smith, Clash, Sex Pistols, Ramones, and Blondie, who of course I know you can see here. He started his career as being, when he moved to, in 1971 to New York, he became John Lennon and Yoko Ono's personal photographer and friend. So from that moment on, really making photos and documenting these very dynamic and very dramatic and people was something of a mission and a life's journey. He was a chief photographer for Rock Scene magazine in the 70s. And photography became sort of this candid view of the stars and the rock and roll stars who he followed, captured, became friends with, documented in many different ways, which I think is so interesting. And there is actually a film that was also done about his work recently, not so long ago, and let's see, it was in 2011 that the director Don Letts made a feature-length film titled Rock and Roll Exposed, the photography of Bob Gruen. So that was very, very telling about the standing of Bob Gruen. So this is a photograph we can all recognize. This is Debbie Harry, Blondie, 1976. It's an incredible image. It really sort of, it's New York City, right? We've just seen the New York City during the first picture of Mark Lewis, during the pandemic, the way, the emptiness, of the streets. But here, of course, is New York City in the throes of glamour and action, and, being illuminated by stars like Debbie Harry. So Bob, I question for you as to, please put us in the moment, put us into the scene, tell us what is happening, how this picture came about. I know that Debbie Harry was another favorite subject of yours. And where was this, and what do you, what are we seeing here?
Well, this was actually in the back room of Kansas City. In 1976, Blondie was still a kind of up and coming unknown group. There was probably maybe 100 people at most in the audience. I should point out that Debbie made that dress from a pillowcase. She writes about it in her book, that she found a pillowcase and she made that dress out of it. She's wearing a kind of military hat, and I believe the song they were doing is an odd song, a cover of a Romy Haag song, the German Chanteuse. And it was quite a fun night. They were just beginning their career, as I said, but learning how to do it, but still just great. I mean, Debbie's always been one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. It's not hard to take a good picture of Debbie Harry. All you got to do is point the camera at her. She always looks good, and she's a great personality. She's very upfront, a very forthright, a very strong personality, and a lot of fun to be with. She's a very funny person.
Yeah, so she was in
yesterday. Yesterday was her birthday, so I was
that's so funny. Oh my gosh, are you still in touch with her?
Yeah, I sent her a happy birthday message yesterday. Heard back from her.
Oh, fabulous! And does she know that this work is going to be at the auction?
I'm not sure. We didn't really talk about it.
You'd have to tag
she's
her.
Quite, she herself supports many good causes. She's quite a giving person, a very generous person.
So she's in her 20s here.
Well, actually, Debbie always looked like a teenager, but I think she's about 32 there.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. No, 31. I think that picture, yeah, she's 31.
Close enough.
Who's counting,
Exactly. Very, very close, close enough. And I mean, you have so many photographs. I was looking, through your work, and I, once I start, it's hard to stop because you're sort of I mean, I only came to this country in 1979, so 76 I wasn't here. But for me, it's just fascinating, you know, that you were clearly so close to the musicians because, you know, you weren't an outsider. You really every photograph you take feels like you're the insider. You're in there. You know, they're allowing you. It's, you know, they sort of see you as one of their own. I don't know if that's how you felt as well.
Well, yes. You know, I get the most candid pictures by being, you know, involved in a scene. Like people ask me, how do you get to be inconspicuous in a certain situation? I said, by being part of the situation.
Right.
And I just had a knack of being friendly with musicians. I mean, since high school, I had a similar lifestyle, staying up late at night and, you know, enjoying music. And most of my friends are artists and musicians. So being in the scene and part of the scene just came naturally to me. And
Right.
I think that helped to get a lot of the candid kind of personal photos that I've got with different bands. I was on the bus with the Clash and the Sex Pistols going across America back and forth, you know, traveling with the Ramones. Actually, my career started 50 years ago next week. July 8th is the anniversary of the night that I took a multiple image picture of Tina Turner. Where Tina was dancing to a strobe light, and I took a 1 second picture, and I got 5 different images, and happened to run into Ike and Tina a few days later at one of their shows, and they liked the pictures, and they took me on the road with them, and I started traveling. My first album cover actually was a Tina Turner picture that was came out in the spring of 1971. So July 8th is the 50-year anniversary, basically, of the, you know, my real career.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh. Well, you do not look like you have a 50 anniversary in a career. So
Well, yeah, and actually I have a biography. I've just written an autobiography.
oh, fantastic. What
This
is
is
it
probably
called?
backwards, right? But it says right place, right time. It'll be out in October, telling loads of stories, my life story.
Oh,
So,
that's good. That's good to know. I have so 2 more questions here. One is
mhm.
there a good story, short story, quick story you can tell us about Debbie Harry?
um, well, loads of them.
Anything like, you
I
know,
don't know. Well, I mean, the fact that she made that dress, and I don't
right.
know where she's wearing a necklace made out of some kind of, it looks like teeth or
It
something,
does,
weird
yes.
animal teeth. I don't know
Claws,
where
like
that came
claws.
from. Yeah. But Debbie is homemade. She's not styled. She styles herself. She's always been very eclectic, but very interesting, and a very punky, but very forward fashion sense. She really has a great sense of style and a great sense of humor. You
Yeah,
know,
great to know.
that's one
And
of the
she's
reasons
just
we
an
both stay
icon. You know,
friends.
we always feel, you know, she's sort of so iconic and she's so unreachable. She's always on that stage. She's like,
But she's not haughty, and she's not haughty or standoffish or diva-like in any way. I mean,
yeah,
she's a very down-to-earth, you know, she could be the girl next door, except she happens to be the most beautiful girl in the world.
yeah,
You
it's
know?
amazing. I love that. I love it. I love this image. I love that you picked that. You have so many to pick from. I mean, it's endless. Again, once I started looking, I think I spent like an hour just going
Oh,
through all the
thank you.
images. How can I possibly, you know, stop? Where's the stopping point? So amazing, amazing to work. And my guess final question is, so, you know, what is your involvement with Her Justice? You know, why are you dedicated to the cause? I know that you have been involved with them for a long time. Just maybe a few words about that.
I know, I was trying to think of it. I've been involved for so long, I can't remember when it started. It had a
When you
different
didn't,
name
when you
back
weren't
then.
involved.
There was a different name before Her Justice. And I've actually been thrilled that the organization uses a photography auction so that I can be part of it and a regular part of it.
Yeah.
For me, my mother and father were both lawyers. My mother graduated from law school in 1932 at the height of the Depression. I've always just been drawn to powerful women. I never questioned that. You know, my mom worked her whole life. In the 30s, she got involved in bringing people, rescuing people from Germany, coming to America, getting them visas. And she spent the rest of her life as an immigration lawyer, helping people come and start lives in America. She was also very involved. And my mom's the kind of person who became, when she joined an organization, she became president. She wouldn't just join and go to a couple of meetings. She'd become president and really reorganize and make the organization a lot better. Everything from her Temple Sisterhood to become the national president of the sisterhoods all across America, to B'nai B'rith, to hospitals in Israel, all kinds of organizations. And my mom taught me to help people.
Mm.
That, you know, if you can, it's just the right thing to do. And so when Her Justice came to me, it just made total sense. A group of lawyers, you know, that needs a photographer, I'm like, I'm there.
Totally.
It was so easy for me to be part of it. And I think that Her Justice does such great, truly important work. You know, starting my career with Ike and Tina Turner, I know that story. You know, certainly the movie about Tina Turner, What Love Got to Do with It, opened up this whole issue. It was not so widely known before that, but once Tina made it public, and you know, the fact that a woman like Tina could be totally involved in a captive situation where she was, you know, violently hurt often, really brought this issue home to an international audience. So I felt that was very important. In my life, I actually knew Ike Turner. I don't think he necessarily was the poster boy, but I think the issue was so important that it was great that this came out, and I'm really happy to be able to help.
Fantastic. Yeah. Thank you. I love all the involvement. I mean, I think most of the photographers I've asked today, there's this family connection that they have through their spouse or through, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or for you, it's your parents. I love the fact that that's really the organization also kind of encourages or just allows people to kind of connect to with each other's family members and support each other that way and support the organization. Somehow there's all this family connections, which is
Well,
amazing.
it was very important for me, you know, living a rock and roll life. My mom was not always proud of me. She lived long enough to see me get some respect and have big major shows, but being in this organization for me is really vindication of the lifestyle I led, and that it leads to actually something good is
Yeah.
very rewarding.
Fantastic. Well, I salute you. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Really fun to talk to you. Yeah, thank
Okay.
you.